there you are. Well, this is a quick, shortish for me review today. It's all about that Ceriatone Train Wreck that I built from a kit that I bought from, well, Nick at Ceriatone. Fact is, I bought a case with it. As you can see on the screen now, it's a nice looking amp. It's got a sort of green case, and the front was black with a little bit of sort of gold piping around it and that sort of stuff. Reminded me a bit of Marshall, that did. But round the back, the cover remains green for now. And I thought, well, you know, it's all good, but something's missing. Oh, come on, Tony, what do you mean? Something's missing. Anyone that's seen a picture of an original Trainwreck amp, everybody will know that's seen that, knows that the box, or the case, we'll call it that it's fitted in is like a sort of natural wood. Not unlike that Bogner I've got over there. There might be a picture on the screen or something. And I had that made by Noisy Hammer. Yeah, they're good guys for that. But I was considering getting one made really for the Trainwreck because, well, that's how it should be. Maybe. And then I thought, well, what could I do myself, you know? What could I do? I'm not a genius at woodwork, but I can get away with one or two little bits. Yeah, so I found a company that could sell me some wood, and I like figured wood. Now, you might not be able to see anything on this one from where you are, but don't worry about that. Well, so what did I do? Well, I went where every great guy like me would do. I went to eBay. Oh no. Yeah, I went to eBay looking for pieces of wood. You know, as you do, pieces of wood. Yeah, all this sort of stuff. But they were selling it as a top for a guitar. And if I turn this piece over, you can even see, well, maybe you can see a little bit of where the guitar was actually drawn around a big piece. But I can't make a whole case, so what could I do? Well, the more I thought about it, the more I looked around in here. And virtually, not all, but virtually every amp, you could do this too. So what I'm going to do first of all is show you how I did it. So where did I get the wood from, actually? Well, let's cover the guy first, because he was very helpful. He sort of cut it to the size that I said. Because I haven't got the tools, man. Like you, I haven't got the tools. Who is he? Well, he's a guy named John Ambler. Yeah, and the company's called Luthier Wood and Artisan Supplies. And I can tell you that the wood I bought, well, you're going to see it in a bit. I think it's brilliant. And I've got enough for the front and the back if I want to do the back, or just the front, and I've got a spare for something else. Maybe. It should fit a number of amp tops. Anyway, here he is. Yeah, his website is www.luthierwood.com. Nice and simple. He's based in England, by the way, but I think he sells it to anywhere. You know how life is. And he lives in Derbyshire, which is, well, he's not that far away from me, but he's not sort of next door. You know what I mean? He's got a Facebook/Instagram at Luthier Wood Supply, no spaces, and you'll get hold of him there. Yeah, Luthier Wood. Very helpful guy. There he is. Sent me a little note because I asked for it. I wanted to tell everybody what he's like, or how good he is, or how bad he is, or is the wood any good, and all that sort of stuff. And I can tell you, he is. He's good. Well, what does he do? He does instrument woods, slabs and lumber, spindle turning blocks, knife scales, guitar building courses, by the way, he does, machining services, and yeah, you've got his details basically. It's all there, luthierwood.com, www.luthierwood.com. So I find him on eBay. I bought it off eBay because that's the right thing to do. And then, yeah, in it came, and I decided to do some work on it. So I've got a few pictures. So what you'll see is the first piece of wood out of a number of pieces of wood that I had. And that's as it came to me, cut, raring to be, well, finished in the right way and that sort of stuff. Yeah. And you can see on the other side, even part of where that guitar body was drawn. No use to me, but don't worry about that. And yeah, all very nice. So what I did is I sealed it a little bit. Yeah, it's called sanding sealer. And this one was like a shellac based thing. I just put a little coating on there before I did anything else. I'm like that. But moving on from that, the stuff you see on the screen, the next thing I used was some wood stain, and the one I used was Sunflower, just for your information. It's made by a company called Village Green. It's called Sunflower, and I got it off Amazon, and it wasn't particularly expensive. So that was the sort of dye that I used, and I only used one coat of dye, just one wipe over with a cloth, just to get the sort of more yellowy, sort of more vintage looking colour rather than what you might have thought. Now that last one you see on the screen, that basically was the lacquer, and this was a brand called Polar. It says flawless lacquer, and I can tell you it's pretty good stuff. So what you do is, yeah, you do your sealing, you do your dye, and you put a coat of that on, leave it 24 hours, sand it down, another coat, sand it down, and then do your last coat, and you'll have something looking like what I've got at the end. And you can see in this picture here where I used various sealers and dyes and colours to just check what I was going to get as opposed to what I actually had ultimately. Yeah, all very interesting that was. So Tony, what is the net result? Well, it goes from this sort of, well, anemic, that's the word I'd use. It's very anemic to what you're going to see any second now. Oof. Here it is. Yeah. So what do you think of that? Well, some people could argue, well, it doesn't look right, Tony. Some could argue that. It depends what you like, but I think it breaks up the pure green into something that says, well, it half says, this is a train wreck. There aren't so many amps made with that sort of wood. Even all over, there aren't so many. And they become sort of custom made cases that can cost a lot of money. Well, we're on cost. Well, what did it cost me to do this? Well, remember, I had enough for a guitar top, not just enough for this bit. So I've got enough for the back. I could do a lot of different things. It cost me about £90 for the wood. And then probably, I don't know, £20 for the bits and pieces of sandpaper and stuff like that. You know, the stuff that you're going to need for everyday stuff. But do remember, I can still make this back. I could copy the back and put a nice wood back on too. And that isn't beyond what I can do. I've already done the front. Very nice, shiny, to say the very least. I want to show you a couple of other things that I've done on this amp. You can probably see them from there, although you don't know. You don't know it, or you might. Yeah, take a look at the picture on screen now. Well, that picture shows you a sort of little sticky label. Not dissimilar to what the train wreck guy put on his own, except his was black and white and mine's transparent and black. And there it is. It says built the 26th of March 2025 on that one. And on this other one it says TonyMcKenzie.com, and then I've got a third one that's on the back, and I gave the amp a name. This one's called, let's have a look what it's called. It's called Alexandra. Yeah, I thought that was a very befitting name. For very good reason, because that's my granddaughter's name. So there, Alexandra. Yeah. Okay, well, you probably didn't notice this. I mean, you can zoom back, but I'm going to put some pictures on the screen. I had this idea. Let me get this bit of stuff out. So I am actually covering a few different little things, and I do know that Ceriatone do actually use these little black things here. It's like a little washer that fits underneath the switches. Yeah, there it is. It looks a bit plasticky and, well, the nicest way I can put it, it looks cheap, in my opinion. So what I did is I thought, well, what can I get that can replace something like that? And I found these things. There'll be a picture on the screen, don't you worry. And what these are is they're like a surround made of aluminium that can fit on those little switches. And they look very nice. And they have them in different colours. So what I thought to myself, you can see them there now on that picture. And I've got a red one, a blue one, some green ones. And I think I've got a purple one round the back somewhere. Doesn't really matter much, but there they are. And they're quite an interesting little product, because if you go and get these ones here, these were 6mm ones, by the way. You can get them on eBay. I couldn't find them anywhere else, but you can get them on eBay, and they do come from China, which is the other side of nowhere. But the 6mm ones, you just have to take a small little file. In fact, I still have the file here. Small little file like this, and you just go around it a little bit. And this will fit right onto the switch when you take the nut off. Now, you won't be able to take a spanner and put it on that nut and tighten it up, because there's not enough room. But what you can do, it's a Tony tip. You can take two small flat head screwdrivers, put one each side of the nut. I had the chassis out, by the way, to do this. And I can hold the actual switch in the amp so it doesn't turn. And you can turn these two screwdrivers if you just squash them together. And you can get really substantial tightness on that nut. So they're not going to come off. There's nothing like that going to happen. They look good as well. They set the amp apart. So you might have greens for something to do with, I don't know, clean. And you might have red for something to do with overdrive, or purple to do with something else. You get the idea. And there's 6 or 7 or 8 colours. And they do cost you a little bit of money. They cost you about £4 per colour, and you get 5 of each one. It's not much I can say. So it's costing you about £16 or something like that to get a bag of these. You can see I've got a pile of them over. No, you can't have them. Okay, well, there you are. And if you look carefully enough, I mean, this is, I did mine in gloss. You can do it in semi-matte or matte or whatever you fancy, but it really brings out that figuring. You don't find many sort of amp fronts like that, do you? And I wanted the amp to stand out a little bit, you know. So to me, it's the perfect front, that is. It's not quite as deep a piece of wood as the original front, but I don't think it makes any difference at all. You can see it's fitted beautifully well, and it looks absolutely great. The other thing is, there are those little pieces we were talking about. I can zoom in a bit further. You can see them down here, different colours. I hope you can see them, at least. Yeah, there they are. Let's move the camera around a bit. And there's another nice shot. Yeah, to me, it sort of sets the amp off a little bit, and makes it stand out a little bit compared to some of the other stuff that's out there, you know. And as for the plastic washers, well, they're fine, you know, from Ceriatone, but I want it to look a bit better. The only thing I want now is some sort of logo. I don't know what to do about that. I could put the Ceriatone one on. It comes with one of those. I could go and find a train wreck one, maybe, and stuff that up in the bar corner over there, or not. So there's the amp, and I think it looks pretty spiffing myself. For me, this green and this sunflower, I only did it very lightly. You didn't need oodles of stuff on this. I didn't want it to be yellow. Yeah, it sort of set it off fantastically. It's a great piece of wood. So do remember the guy. His details are on the screen, and yeah, what a great supply. Well, that's it for me on this one. I just wanted to let you have a look at this amp and where I'd taken it to from its sort of original sort of setup. And yeah, to me, it's spot on. It's exactly what I like. Yeah. By the way, Nick did a brilliant job of the covering on this. I never did mention that, I don't think. But it was a really good job, really. In fact, it's one of the best Tolex coverings I've ever seen of any amp. Yeah. Anyway, don't forget lithiawood.com. I think it is. Let me have one look. Yeah, lithiawood.com. www.lithiawood.com. And this isn't a sponsored review at all. Every single thing that I'm showing you in this review is actually originally bought by me for real money that I've gone and earned, and I've bought the bits. Yeah, so it's a totally real review. Lithia Wood, honestly, he's a supplier, but he's a good supplier, and if I find good suppliers, I always like to talk about them. The Chinese guy for this stuff, well, he's okay, but he is what he is. I mean, I wish I could have bought them in England somewhere cheaper, because they weren't cheap at £4 for 5 of them. Adds up to 16 to 18 quid by the time you've got them, you know. Okay, that's it for now. Don't forget to visit TonyMcKenzie.com if you want to see other reviews. And don't forget to subscribe, will you? You know, it's all so easy for people to just come and have a look at the video and then sod off. I think that's the word. Yeah, and you never see them until the next video. And funnily enough, they come back again. And then they still don't subscribe. They just keep coming back, and they don't really help the channel. So I'd like you to help the channel a little bit if you can. Costs the earth to make these videos, and I don't have a lot of spare time. Well, speaking of spare time, if there are any reviews between now, when you see this video, and Saturday the 10th, well, by Saturday the 10th, I'll be in America somewhere for a few weeks. So you're not going to find any reviews online from me, because I aren't there. I'm somewhere else. Yeah, I might make some videos there. Who knows? Who knows? Anyway, until next time, that's it. Get out of here. And thanks for watching, guys.